What's up, Shelf Addicts? Welcome back to the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Today on Book Chat, we are continuing our reread of the Mercy Thompson series written by Patricia Briggs. This episode, we are covering Book 5, Borne. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I am your host, Tamara, and welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, we're going to feed your shelf addiction with fun book conversations, bookish topics, and more. It's like listening in on your favorite book club. Participate in this discussion by joining the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official or over on the Book Clubs app. I hope to hear your thoughts on today's show. You can also find me and Casey on Twitter and Instagram. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support the podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe before you leave. That will really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing it. The uncut video version of this podcast is available right now over on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including after shows and more. So if you're interested in that at all, you'll need to come over onto Patreon and sign up. As always with Book Chats, we talk spoilers here, so you've been warned. Without further ado, let's begin. We've got a lot to talk about today, so we are going to jump right on. And joining me is feature co-host Casey from Heartful of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. We're doing another installment of our read of the Mercy Thompson series. That is a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
So today we are talking about Borne, book 5 in series, written by Patricia Briggs, published March 30th, 2010 by Ace and Penguin Audio. The paperback is 292 pages and the audiobook is 9 hours and 5 minutes, narrated by Lorelei King. Casey, would you please give us the synopsis?
I would be happy to. Mercy Thompson, car mechanic and shapeshifter, never knows what the day or night may bring. But in the 5th novel in the #1 New York Times best-selling series, she's about to learn that while some secrets are dangerous, those who seek them are just plain deadly. Mercy is smart enough to realize that when it comes to the magical fae, the less you know, the better, but you can't always get what you want. When she attempts to return a powerful fae book she'd previously borrowed in an act of desperation, she finds the bookstore locked up and closed down. It seems the book contains secret knowledge, and the fae will do just about anything to keep it out of the wrong hands. And if that doesn't take enough of Mercy's attention, her friend Samuel is struggling with his wolf side, leaving Mercy to cover for him lest his father declares Samuel's life forfeit. All in all, Mercy has had better days, and if she isn't careful, she might not have many more to live.
Oh,
well, poor Mercy.
You know, everybody seemed to have, not everyone, but Samuel had a rough go in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Mercy had a rough go. I felt really bad for Adam in this book.
He had some rough moments.
Yes, especially at the end there. I'm like, oh my God, talk about traumatic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. It was rough for everybody from the get-go.
Yeah, it's a rough ride. I mean, who would think a simple task of returning a book would turn into such a fiasco? But of course, it's Mercy's world. Everything has to have layers upon layers upon layers. And, you know, it's what makes this book fun. Yeah, absolutely. And it even starts out with a bomb, really. Like, not literally, but
almost.
A date from hell.
Yes, the date from hell.
Let's talk about it. What made it a hell date? You can share.
Mercy and Adam are being cute. They're playing. They're flirting with each other. They decide to go bowling. And instead of, just having a happy time with all the humans, Mercy starts noticing that the humans are getting antsy. And this little voice in her head goes, you just need to make it so that they can trust Adam. You need to make Adam look like a hero. And if he looks like a hero, they won't leave and it won't upset him.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. Yeah, you want Adam to look like a hero in front of the humans, not a big, scary werewolf. But then the little voice keeps going, and the little voice is like, ooh, look, here's a toddler. What if we just, casually toss this bowling ball at this toddler's head? Adam will save her. It's fine,
Of course, it's fine.
He's a werewolf. He's super fast. He'll snatch that bowling ball right out of the air. It's totally fine. Okay, Mercy, let's just let the ball fly. And it flies. Adam does catch it and saves this little toddler girl. And he's like, what the fuck, Mercy?
I know, and the little girl, can sense all hell is about to happen. And she, looks like she's about to start crying. But then, of course, Adam in his charm comes in there, starts talking to the little girl. Before you know it, she's just giggling and having a good old time. Never mind, my life flashed before my little eyes. So, yeah, he's really pissed. He kind of calls her on it. And the whole time...
Rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. And the whole time she's hearing, you didn't really throw it at her. You just, it would have rolled past her. It wouldn't have hit her. It's, it's like giving her, reassurances. You didn't do
when you fuck
bad.
up and you're trying to tell yourself, no, I didn't fuck up that bad.
Right. But you did.
Did.
So they finish out their game. They go get in the car. And then Adam tries to ask her what that was. And she shuts it down.
She can't talk to him. She doesn't want to talk to him. She wants to figure out what's wrong. And Adam, who is coming out of a nasty relationship with a human woman, is very much reminded of how his ex-wife would give him the silent treatment and just not talk to him, not explain things, would get mad at him and then ignore him for days on end, because Chrissy is a terrible person. We meet her in the later books, so if you haven't met Chrissy yet, she's coming. But
you're in for a ride with her. She is special.
But yeah, Chrissy was not a good wife. She was not a good person. And Adam is having flashbacks to that. And also what the fuck? Why is Mercy throwing bowling balls at little kids' heads?
Yes. And it's a whole thing. She doesn't really understand until she does. And suddenly when she does, it's oh my God.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
the pack. Well,
it's the pack.
Some of the pack.
Yes, because they are not pleased that Mercy is mated to Adam. They are not pleased that she is part of the pack. They want her gone. They want her out. And I can kind of understand where they're coming from, because they're bigots and homophobes and racist assholes. Yeah, I understand that. But the fact that they're being so methodical in this takedown is, at first, it was kind of, a good villain. But then they just got stupid and sloppy.
Yeah, it didn't really take much to start unraveling it. As soon as, skipping ahead, as soon as, the challenge is brought to Adam, all of a sudden, all the things just click into place, and it's okay. And it's funny, you guys, we did a live reading sprint of this book the other week. I think it was last week by the time you hear this. And something in the beginning of this made me say it was Mary Jo. And that was me remembering the book, and I didn't remember, I didn't know I was remembering the book. Because she was a biatch in this book. I'm I can't believe you. You are that person. Why are you like this? And then, so all the explanations that were given, I still didn't feel bad for her, to be quite frank. I still didn't feel bad for her because
she needed that ass beating. I'm sorry.
It. She took a whooping, a bad one. She almost got killed. To kind of make amends for starting this whole thing. So it starts so small. It starts with, let's just throw a bowling ball at a kid. And it balloons into something like not saying that the alpha's wife or, girlfriend at the time, mate, is not in her burning house.
So, yeah, let's describe this moment because Mercy is dealing with the werewolves and that's some shit going down. Mercy is also dealing with the Fae because it's never just one thing at a time for her. In one of the previous books, Mercy borrowed a book from a Fae man, like he's partial Fae.
Yeah,
Finn. And she's trying to return this book to him that he loaned her because it's like $1,200. And she can't find Finn anywhere. She goes to his bookstore. It's locked up. She goes to his house. His neighbor is also Fae and being kind of creepy. And Mercy's like, I'm just gonna hide this in Kyle's linen closet and just like keep it hidden until we figure out what's going on. Well, she and Sam end up breaking into the bookstore again. They break the glamour and they see that it has been absolutely trashed. There's blood everywhere. Books are ripped and destroyed. They go down into the basement. It's also been trashed. One of the Fae creatures comes and tries fighting with her. Yeah. And Sam kills the beast after Mercy gets knocked out.
Kills it and eats it.
Yes. So while Mercy and Sam are gone out of the house, safe, fighting Fae, some other Fae creatures go to her house and set it on fire. But Mary Jo and Henry were supposed to be watching Mercy, and they let her go with Sam because they don't like her.
Yeah.
And so they watch the Fae light the house on fire. And then Henry, so casually walks up to Adam and says, "Oh, is that Mercy's house on fire?" And Adam, not using any brain cells whatsoever, just runs right into the house.
Yeah.
Like he runs out of his house across the yard, rips the side of the house open and dives in.
Yeah.
Thinking Mercy is inside.
And Ben does too.
Yes, I was just about to say our Ben, who we have hated for most of the first books, he dove into the house to find Sam and the cat Medea. This is the nicest thing Ben has ever done in his life, I think.
Ben
in these books that we have seen.
Ben is like the quintessential hero in disguise. Like he is a really good person. And no one knows it because he's such an asshole on the top layer. You know what I mean?
He wants you to think he's an asshole. He wants you to hate him. He curses like a sailor. He's sexist and misogynistic and makes all the terrible jokes. But when
he doesn't
the house
even
is on
mean
fire...
No, but he doesn't even mean it. Like when he was talking to Mercy, I think he was trying to give hints about who... was with Mary Jo and stuff. And he was talking, they're all talking about like pack rules and levels and all of that. And the misogyny isn't really showing right then. You know what I mean? It's not.
No, he was 100% like Team Mercy. He's like, there's some shit going down in the pack. I'm too low on the totem pole to do anything. But I'm going to try and give you as much information as I possibly can because you don't deserve this. Yeah. This is bullshit. Yes. We need to save you because you are our alpha. You are our alpha's mate. Like, you are in charge. You are number 2.
Yes. And of course, this whole time, Sam, Sam is, kind of walking around being with Mercy because wasn't that the last book? I'm like, my time frames are getting mashed together. So Samuel tried to kill himself. He is now Sam in wolf form, and he is just gonna be like that.
Yes. So that was chapter 3 of this book. That started in this book.
Okay, because I'm like, they're all blending.
Me. I know.
So to top it off, in this book, then Mercy gets a call. Hey, from one of the nurses at the hospital. Okay, come right now.
No, it's okay. So Samuel
Sam calls her.
her friend, roommate, former lover, they almost ran away with him when she was 16, but then decided that she didn't want to be a baby maker. And he's been kind of depressed since then. So for the last 15 years. And he's been dealing with some shit. And he's said some things that makes Mercy thinks he's not on the up and up, right? And even in chapter 1, he says some things like, you take care of her to Adam and you be happy. And
before the date. Yeah.
And Mercy doesn't think anything of it because she's going on her date and then, the bowling ball and all this stuff is going on. Well, she gets a phone call in the middle of the night and it's Samuel speaking Welsh in her ear. And she's like, you're speaking too fast. I don't understand you. What's going on? So she gets dressed. She goes to the hospital. She meets the nurse there. The nurse is like, oh, thank God you came. We told him he needed to go home because he was in a car accident. And Mercy's like, what? A car accident? And the nurse was like, yeah, he was over on this bridge, over by this river. The car almost went off the bridge, but thankfully there was a cop right there. The cop stopped and saved him, but the cop said he must have been disoriented because it looked like he was crawling the wrong way. And
into the river, into the bridge.
Off the bridge, into the river. And that's when Mercy immediately freaks out because she realizes that Samuel had been trying to commit suicide because he is old, he is tired, he doesn't want to live anymore. He doesn't think he does anything good for the pack he's not even really in a pack. Mercy is his pack. Right. So he's ready to die. And Mercy's like, oh, fuck no. Oh, fuck no. So she goes into the room where he is, and she realizes that the wolf is in charge, which is really, really bad.
Yeah, usually it would be, but somehow, by some miracle, Sam, he goes by Sam instead of Samuel.
Yeah, as the wolf, he's Sam.
He somehow manages to keep his shit together, and he's not wild, he's not vicious, he's not all of the things you would expect. Especially in the state, and all he wants to do is live. He says to her, the
human side is ready to die, but I don't. I want to live.
Exactly. And so they walk out of there barely. He's holding it together because he hasn't turned. He's the wolf in control, but in a human body. And they walk out of there, and then she's like, "Oh my God!" But he changes in the car. He changes to a wolf. So,
and then he basically stays in wolf
for most of the book. Yeah.
Because the wolf wants to live. And the wolf is like, if I let Samuel take charge again, he's going to try and kill himself again. And no, that's not going to happen. And Mercy's like, yes, I agree with you. So then Mercy is put in another predicament where she has to kind of lie to Adam and
lie of omission.
Because she knows that if she says, hey, Sam is in charge, the wolf, not the human, those two men will come over and kill Sam instantly.
Yeah.
Because it is such a dangerous thing to have the wolf in control.
Yeah. So, she even says, I guess I'm learning how to lie like the Fae, right? Like you lie with the truth. So, of course, after that horrid date, Adam calls her and she's kind of like, I need some time.
And he thinks it's all him. He doesn't realize it's Samuel.
Yeah, he knows it's the pack. She wants time away from him and the pack. Well, he says the pack and me. So,
she says the pack. She doesn't disabuse him of that. It's not good.
No, she did not say, no, Adam, it's not you. It is the pack. But she didn't say, that's how it's like a lie with the truth. Because she didn't say anything to change. She didn't help.
Yes.
So, and he's like, well, what about, I'll see you Tuesday. So this must be Friday or something.
I think it's Saturday.
Is that Friday? Yeah, Saturday. And she's like, yeah, Tuesday's great. So she thought she just got rid of his ass till Tuesday. Like, girl, nice try.
Nope. So she takes Sam the wolf to her garage and forgot that Gabriel's mother, Sylvia, and his 5 little sisters are there cleaning the office. Yes, it is a clusterfuck.
A big one. And, her first instinct is to leave. We'll go somewhere else. But no, they see her. They're waving at her, coming out. Sylvia, the mother, comes out. And, before you know it, the little baby, the preschooler is like, ooh, a dog. Yay.
Pony. And she climbs on him. She's pulling his ears. She's pulling his hair. Mercy's like, oh my God, he's about to eat this baby. But Sam is like, nope, I'm fine playing with kids.
Yeah, and she does. She rides him like a pony. She's pulling his fur. And all the other kids are trying to play a little bit. And they're like, they're distracted by the cookies, a bunch of noise. You know how it is with 5 kids running around.
Especially 5 little girls who are sisters, and sisters fight or scream at each other for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah, so, all that happens, and she's like, okay, well, let's just go out here and work. She's like, come on, Sam, and Sam just lays there. She's like, okay, fine. So she leaves.
Lies to Sylvia.
She tells Sylvia it's a dog, some mix. I don't remember what
like
breeds.
Great Pyrenees or something. Like he's a big white wolf, and Sylvia's like, is he okay? Or what is he? And Mercy goes, well, I think he might be a giant Pyrenees, maybe.
I think she's just so used to lying to people, she can't even tell when she should tell the truth. Because honestly, wolves are out. Not every single wolf, but in general, wolves are out. So she could have said, this is a werewolf. She knows that she dates the alpha. She could have said this is a werewolf, but he's friendly. He won't do anything, or at least I don't think he will do anything. And she still didn't have to out Samuel. She doesn't have to say who the wolf is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was her mistake. So fast forward, there's this big hoopla in there. Kids are screaming. Everything's like going crazy. They run in there, and there's a guy with a gun.
Of course.
Human
man with a gun.
Yes. And it just all kind of hell just kind of temporarily breaks loose. Like they're trying
Mercy smacks the shit out of him with the broom handle. And it is the best thing ever.
It was hilarious. And then, of course, all of this is being caught on tape. So who comes to check things out?
Adam.
Her mate.
She got maybe 2 hours, 3 hours break from him.
Right. Did you think he would not spot stuff on the camera and not come running over there? Girl.
I mean, even if he wasn't watching the camera himself, his people are watching the feed. They would call him instantly as soon as they saw the gun. And Adam's there.
He has people, probably one person designated, on some kind of rotation to watch those shop cameras and call me if anything crazy happens, especially after Tim. He probably had someone dedicated sitting there all damn day.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And crazy shit happens in Mercy's garage all the time. So, it's worth it. They need it. As seen by this human man barging in with a gun saying that he has a warrant for a werewolf. So Sylvia finds out that that the dog is actually a werewolf. She freaks out because she was letting her babies play on this werewolf, and the warrant is fake. The humans had no idea who Adam was. They thought he was eating people and, didn't bother to Google the name Adam and realized that, nope, Adam would not eat people.
These idiots, it's like the first the first wolf they come across. It's him, grab him. But of course, now we know later they had some influence, right?
They'd been set up. It was the Fae trying to kill Mercy, always.
Right. Of course. So that whole thing goes down. Of course, Sylvia is she's hella mad. She leaves. She tells Gabriel he can't work there anymore. The whole 9. It was it just blew up, and she's just fine. She owns it because she did mess up. For one time, one of the very few times where her self-deprecating viewpoint is actually real.
Yes, it's accurate.
Yeah, you deserved to be talking bad about yourself on this one. But because, that is like one of my nitpicks about her. She is forever and ever trying to take the blame for everything. But this one time, you do deserve it.
This was fully on Mercy. She should have said, he's a werewolf, but he's fine, or he's a werewolf, he's not okay. Let's take him into the garage. But Sam was being a little bit of a butt face, and like Mercy tried to nudge him into the garage, and he just like laid down on the ground and looked at her as like, I'm not moving. You can't move me. I want to be here.
Can you imagine like several 100-pound animal? You're not going to get that thing to move if it doesn't want to move.
Nope.
It's there. Yeah.
If you've ever had a big dog, like a 90-pound dog, when it lays down, it is done. It's not moving. And you can't move it. So yeah. If it's a 200-pound werewolf, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. So they ended up calling Tony. Well, Sylvia did because, they're
the police,
friends with him.
Human police.
They cleaned it up, right? Everybody put your guns away, put the weapons away. We'll figure out what's what. Mercy, says bye to them. And then the next thing you know, Adam's kind of like figuring out what she's done already.
Well, Mercy's being really stupid in this moment because, she's self-deprecating. She's like, I fucked up on everything. And so instead of saying anything, she just says, hey, Adam, look at Sam.
Yeah, look at him.
What? Mercy, what?
It's good.
Two dominant wolves who can barely, be around each other without fighting for domination because they're very equal in power.
She's also bad at explaining things.
Yes.
Very
she
bad.
is.
So the approach was completely wrong. She should have started with, I'm sorry, but then Adam, she does ultimately apologize, and Adam's like, look, would you change anything? She's like, no. He's like, you're not sorry. Stop apologizing to me. And he kind of like accepts it, but he's not happy about it. Who wants to be manipulated like that?
No. But the thing that really broke my heart was when he, turned away from her and he gets so mad, he breaks the counter and he screams, don't leave me, because he thought that Mercy was trying to leave him. And my poor Adam.
He needs therapy too. He's got a lot of issues.
Yes.
He thinks that she will leave him at the drop of a dime.
And I mean, some of it is Christy, but some of it is Mercy, because Mercy is so independent and she's so hyper independent is the word, because she doesn't want to have to rely on anybody. She doesn't want to have to rely on Adam, and Adam feels guilty because, he had to turn her into his mate when Stefan was taking over her. So he didn't really ask her to mate in the last book. So he has guilt about that, and he's just expecting her to walk away from him at any moment.
Even though she's verbally always like reassuring him when that comes up. Like in this moment, she actually says, quote, I might be dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I've got you now and you aren't getting away. So she reassures him in that moment, like that's not what's happening here, right?
Right.
But it doesn't matter. The next incident, he's going to be thinking the same thing over
which
again.
Which kind of does happen again at the end of the book, which we can get to in a minute.
Yeah.
So, Adam needs therapy, but he also needs a hug. Mercy needs to learn when to lie to people, when not to lie to people. It is a hot freaking mess in this book.
It is. And I kind of feel like this. So, yes, you're dealing with a lot of supernatural creatures. You have to be careful of what you say and how you say it and who you say it to. And I get all that. And I understand the necessity of lies in these situations. But there should be one person and one person alone you don't lie to.
Adam.
And that is Adam. And everybody else can F off.
Yes.
They get what you give them.
Yes.
But for some reason, she can't. Now, in this case, she thought she did the right thing. And essentially she did, because later Adam says, I would have come over and killed him.
He wouldn't have stopped. He wouldn't have thought about it. Yes.
Right.
And so he ultimately agrees with her decision as well. But Mercy should not lie to Adam.
Yeah, I agree. It's making everything worse. It's just making every time. With all it's like you have enough external things already pulling at your relationship. Don't create internal things when you don't need it.
Yes. And I think she really, like, that lesson hits home more to her in this book than in any other book and in any other previous scene, because Adam has been, very, very kind and very, very gentle with her. And really, when he's breaking the counter in that moment, that really hit home for Mercy, that he was, hurting that badly, that he really, truly believed that she would leave him if she could.
Yeah.
And that, she was trying to pull away from him because of the date the night before and how fucked up all of that was and how the pack is, fucking with Mercy's head. And it's just, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think now's a good time to take a break. When we come back, we will finish out this conversation and we'll talk about some highlights that happened toward the end of the book that are very important.
Yes.
So many things.
So many things.
Yes. So while you're listening to the commercials right now, don't forget to check out the book review notebook and the book review journal available right now on Amazon. Click the links in the show notes and just chill. Grab a drink while you listen to these commercials and we'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. All right, guys, we're back.
Yay!
Welcome back. How was that break? Did you love it? I loved it.
Did you get a drink?
I have some water, but did you guys get a drink?
I have water too, but
you have water.
It's
see, look, I'm being good.
5:00 yet.
I'm being good. It's after 5 somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
But I'm being good because I'm going into a weekend of wine drinking and cocktail drinking. So
yes, save your liver.
Yes, I'm doing myself a favor beforehand. All right, let's jump back into it. So where should we pick up exactly or kind of jump ahead a little bit?
We can jump ahead
only about 100 pages in right now.
Yeah. Now, this book was very intense. There was a lot happening right away. And even though, the storyline's kind of boring, Mercy has to return a book. Well, how busy or bad can that be?
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad because, as she's finding all the Faye in the bookstore, Adam runs into the burning building of her house. The pack is turning on her. And then as soon as Adam is injured, he's been healing for 6 hours, they start to challenge him. And everybody's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And this is what I meant, like, at the beginning of the conversation when the villains, like, I can kind of understand where they're coming from. And they're racist, asshole, homophobic bigots. Like, their whole plan hinged on the fact that Mary Jo was in love with Adam.
Yes, okay, look. Let me just say, when Mercy called her out for not being able to get Adam, I'm like, dang. That was
one of the most badass Mercy moments because she just leads Mary Jo into Jesse's room, turns on some loud music, and leads her to her own demise through a series of questions. Where it's like,
she's
all right,
like, this is a come to Jesus basically right here.
Why do you hate me? And Mary Jo spouts off some bullshit, and Mercy's like, no. Why do you really hate me? Tell me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
She starts going off, you're not good enough for him. I'm not good enough for him either. Like, girl.
Ooh.
Did you really? I mean, this was like some high school psycho stuff right here. Like, you really... but she wasn't treating what's her face. Well, I guess she thought Christy was fine because she's soft, like she said. She used a few adjectives, right?
Yeah, soft and feminine and
right,
dependent on a man, and you know, she'll be.
So I guess that's why she was okay with Christy.
Yeah, plus Christy's very good about making people feel bad for her, as we see in later books. Yes.
Yeah. It all kind of comes out. And then, of course, Mercy starts asking her, so who was on watch with you? Mm-hmm. She won't say. Nope. She's like, well, it wasn't this person. It couldn't have been that person. And she starts whittling away. And then when she names Henry, she clams up and she's like, bingo. And then next thing you know, Adam bursts in the room. He's like, yeah, I was listening at the door and I heard all of that. Like, oh God.
And then he's like, yeah, Paul just climbed through the window. Was it Paul or Peter?
Peter, I think.
Yeah, Peter.
No, yeah. No, Paul, not Peter. Isn't Peter
Peter's Honey's husband?
Right.
Okay, so it's Paul. Paul climbed through his bedroom window and challenged him to a fight to the death in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
With Henry and who was the other person in there?
Oh, it was just
somebody. No, there was somebody else in there. And because somehow Adam had been left alone without Daryl or Warren or Mercy.
Yeah, he had a witness. I don't know who his witness was. It was somebody unimportant.
Yeah, one of the betas or submissives or whatever. Like, and so, now it's Henry who's the mastermind because Henry has gotten Paul to challenge Adam. If Paul can defeat Adam in his injured state, then Bran is going to come in and kill Paul for killing his alpha while he's injured and not giving Bran the chance to sanctify the challenge.
Right.
Say that 5 times fast.
Exactly. I guess when it comes to alphas, you need approval. So
Henry wants to be number 2 right now. So then when Paul dies, he can instantly become number 1. He doesn't really talk about how he's going to get rid of Daryl and Warren, but,
I'm sure he'll worry about that later.
He has a plan somehow.
Yeah.
But Mary Jo just, confesses everything. She says it was Henry who was doing this. It was Henry who convinced her to let Adam run into the house while it was burning. It was Henry who, convinced her to mess with Mercy's mind during the date. And so they plan on taking Adam down, but Mary Jo jumps up and says, no, let me fight instead.
Yeah, she's like, I challenge you, Paul. And Paul likes her. And he's like, I don't want to fight you. Why are you doing this? Actually, can you even do this? You're a woman. And then they start going through all of the, tribulations of discussing, does she qualify? And of course, it gets to the point where, the top 3 in the pack are supposed to vote. And of course, Adam recuses himself. And then Mercy is next. And then by listening to their pack bonds, Mercy recuses herself. And then, of course, it's Daryl. Daryl says no. Honey says yes.
Ariel.
Ariel says
his
yes
wife.
because she's all about
female empowerment.
Yeah, she's like, I vote yes. And then, of course, Warren's like, do you want me to get in this marital fiasco? Like, why do I have to break the tie? So he says, Mary Jo, do you really want to do this? Yes, I do. Okay, then you better win. And he gives his blessing to go ahead.
Yes.
And they fight.
And Mary Jo, she holds her own for a bit, but Henry hit her earlier and broke her ribs. So she's dealing with broken ribs.
Yeah.
Paul has no idea. She knocks him down a bit, but ultimately almost dies herself because her ribs puncture her lungs. Ooh, it was bad.
She wasn't going to, what do you call it when you
yield? She wasn't going to yield.
She wasn't going to yield, but Adam kept saying, yield. Everyone's saying it to her like, you're going to die, and there's no need for this. So she yields, and of course, Paul's the first one trying to help her. And then he realizes, I didn't hit you there.
Here, I didn't break your ribs.
I didn't break your ribs. And then it comes out that Henry did. And everyone kind of looks at him and they kind of give him a wide. They don't want to be around him. They're looking like, oh, man. What a mess. So, of course, then he's left to fight Adam. And Adam's like, not all the way well, but he's had some time.
He's had a few more minutes to heal, and also Paul's a little dazed because Mary Jo got some good hits in, you know. And so Adam wipes the floor with Paul, like, very quickly, knocks him out, asks him to yield. He yields, and he's like, the only reason you're alive right now is because of Mary Jo. You need to thank her.
Yeah.
And then this is my favorite.
He says, because I had enough time to think of a way to bring you down without killing you. It's like, your ass would have been dead if it wasn't for her. I had time to think of a move I could do that wouldn't murder you.
Yeah, which is good. But then this piece of shit, Henry, opens his mouth and he says, "Aicha." And Mercy from across the room whips out her gun and shoots him in the throat.
Boom, right in the neck, and then he can't talk.
It was the best scene.
It's like, he'll heal, but he won't be able to utter.
That's a lead bullet. He'll heal very quickly, but he can't speak.
He can't challenge anyone for a couple days. Which is, his own demise, because we later find out that Bran says, your ass is coming back with me. So he is off. He is out of that pack for now. He needs some retraining.
Yes, he does.
So they've removed him. So that's what he gets, though.
But yeah, after the fight and after everything, Mercy says she feels such peace in the pack. That's something she hasn't felt ever, because they've all been on edge, for the past like Mary Jo said, for the past 2 years, they've had this open wound when Adam claimed Mercy as his mate, but then didn't get an answer from her because he didn't tell her that he needed an answer.
Right.
And but now there's just such peace and contentment, and the people who are trying to hurt Mercy and Adam are, they're either gone or they've had their asses handed to them. And
they had a fire kind of like burning, and then they just doused water on it. So it's going to be a while before they get revved up again about her. But of course, after this, Adam's got a limited amount of time before he drops dead, not literally, but to sleep, right? So he's putting on the front, and then Mercy's like, hey, let's go upstairs. We got to talk to the Morocco. And she makes an excuse for them. They go upstairs, and he basically not falls out. Yeah. And of course, he's like, write me a letter with what you can't tell me, because I know you promised somebody you can't tell me, but why don't you write it down? And he goes to sleep.
Because in this instance, yes, even though we just talked about how Mercy cannot lie to, or should not lie to Adam, in this instance, Mercy was on the phone call with a fae, and the fae said, you have to promise you will not tell any werewolves. And if you tell a werewolf what is happening, I will know that your vow is broken, and I will go kill Gabriel on my side, because
Z. They called out Z as well.
She couldn't talk to the fae. She couldn't talk to werewolves, but she can talk to humans. So she talked to Jesse. Yeah.
And she was smart
werewolves
about
standing
it
around listening.
Yeah, she was smart about it because she put that thing on speakerphone. So, they heard everything.
Everybody heard. Daryl recorded it so they could hear it again. And the fae didn't realize that a human was there, or that Mercy would talk to humans.
Yes, and that was her little workaround for the rest of the book. Let's just drag Jesse everywhere. And I mean, it was a two-pronged thing with Jesse, because, when they went to go, they met with the woman, the grandmother, right? At Mercy's garage. And of course, they needed something of Gabriel's. And Jesse brings a sweater, and the lady's like, hey, the sweater's not going to work. This means more to you than him, but maybe you'll work. How does he feel about you? She's like, I don't know. And she's like, oh, yes, your work. So here we go. We're off to go find him. But, in the meantime, we find out what was her name in the book before it was revealed she was Ariella? She had another A name.
Alicia, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Alicia.
And now she's Ariana.
Yeah, she's Ariana because Samuel came in. So she starts having a panic attack. Go ahead. You
I was going to say Sam, the wolf, has been put in charge because Samuel's still depressed as fuck. He popped out for a minute to work on healing Adam and helping him in the hospital, but it didn't last. And Adam was like, nope, we're going to put you back in wolf form.
Which he forced for 15 minutes, staring him down, by the way.
Because Adam is still powerful.
Yes.
And so Mercy has been worried about him. But as soon as he walks in and sees Arya in his human form, Mercy goes, hot damn, we found something for him to live for.
Yes. And then it's revealed they've known each other. They've known each other hundreds, like a long time ago. They knew each other, and then Samuel just disappeared. You know, it was hard for her to figure out who he is. Well, it took a minute, right? And then he was hard to find, and now here she is, and he's got the Google eyes, and it's all like, and Mercy's like, well, I'll be damned.
Yes, because finding something for Samuel to live for was her number one priority outside of, surviving the Fae attacks. Because she doesn't want him to die. She doesn't want her to lose her friend. Even though he's sad and depressed, she's like, no, like, you can't just give up on life. You can't just walk away. Your wolf doesn't want to die, and, you'll get over this. But you need something to live for. And lo and behold, his love from many, many centuries ago, who is terrified of werewolves, is back.
Yeah, he is back. Panic attacks and all. But she is doing what she needs to do. Once she figures out, oh, wait, you guys know each other? Y'all friends? Okay, it seems like she kind of loosens up with Mercy. And off they go, right? They go to Underhill or, the part of Fae land or whatever to go find Gabriel. And of course, this is a whole fiasco as well in itself.
Yes.
Nothing is ever simple. So Z is able to open a door. He's like, I'll hold the door. You guys hurry up.
So Ariana, Jesse, Sam, and Mercy go in. They find Gabriel and Finn almost immediately or very quickly. But then the Fairy Queen shows up because it was a trap.
She's like, hey, welcome to the party. Where you think you going? Nowhere. So before you know it, she's like, well, she's like, you didn't bring,
the Silver Borne.
Silver Borne with you. She's like, no, why would I do that? Then I wouldn't be able to, have fun and do a wager or bargain or whatever the hell she called it. And she's like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. All right. So it ends up where Ariella ends up being the person that kind of is holding these holding this thing that can transform into all these different things like fire and smoke and
ice at one point. And then it starts turning into her traumas. It turns into her father. It turns into Samuel's wolf. And then it turns into the werewolf beast that scarred her for life. Like a big black dog.
Yeah, it was these black dogs that her father used to attack her with. And she got through all of them until the end. And each one of these things that she got through for 3 minutes holding these items was one person that they let go after. Of course, they bicker about the order of who is to be released. Of course, Mercy is last, and she couldn't hold it for Mercy.
And Mercy was expecting that. Mercy
she's
kind of
fine
figured.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I'll just be here, and I just got to hold on. They'll be back for me. She knows this, right?
Of course, yes.
And it's true. But, in the meantime, the Fae Queen is like, oh, you're mine. She has... she tries to impress her will on her basically to try to make her succumb to being like these other humans here and other
basically
things
like
here.
A zombie, mind control.
Yeah, a zombie.
You're in her thrall.
Yeah.
And at first Mercy is like, no, Adam's more important to me than you, so I'm just not going to obey. So then she goes snip, snip, and cuts the mate bond.
By putting blood her blood in her, like in her cut or something. She adds her blood.
Yeah. And so,
and then,
Mercy.
But the best part.
Yes. No, you tell.
The best part, she's like in this foggy, like subconscious, right? She's just there, not really able to think or do much. And then all of a sudden, Bran just burst in there like, Mercy, hey, I need to tell you some things. Listen up, okay? And she's like, huh, what? He's like, I can talk to you, but I can't hear you. But yeah, he was somehow able to hear feel impressions of her responses, right?
He's like, I know you're annoyed with me right now.
I know you are,
feel your emotions.
Yes, but focus. We gotta get through this. I need to teach you what your mate didn't teach you. Because so he teaches her about the pack bonds, like in a summarized version,
and how it all works.
Yeah, he's like, follow this bond. He tries to get her to learn how to find different people. And then he's like, find Daryl. Now try to find his mate. Try to, and so she sees the differences of the bonds. And then she sees another one and she could tell us Adam. He's like, no, we're not done. Focus here, focus. So then eventually she gets to Adam. And she finds their rope, and it's like frayed and delicate and all this stuff.
It's been chewed on. It's kind of black and broken. Like, it doesn't look pretty.
No, not at all. And then, so like he kind of talks her through it, and somehow she actually what happens is she picks it up, and it's like she doesn't know if she wants to try to reconnect. He said, "Oh, I think there's surely someone else that will want him."
That's
and
before
she's like,
she
no,
touches
he's
it.
Mine.
Yeah, no, she's sitting there looking at it. She's not touching it yet.
Yeah,
and Brana's like, "There's plenty of other ladies around who would take it." And Mercy goes, "Mine!" and jumps on it.
She's like, "Oh, don't threaten me! Don't threaten me with that!" And so she jumps on the bond, and then all of a sudden, you can hear Adam like
in her
Adam's
mind,
like, "Mercy!" Yeah,
he can
he's like,
feel
"You're back."
her.
Oh my god. Yes. And he's like, we're coming. I know where you are. So, and of course, with Faye World, she's gone a month.
Time travels differently between the two different realms. So for Mercy, it's been half an hour, maybe.
Couple hours.
Maybe a couple hours. Like, it has not been very long. She still has a very fresh wound from when Sam bit her a couple days ago. And, like, it hasn't healed at all. But for all of the werewolves, for Adam, for everybody in the human realm, it's been over 30 days. They haven't been able to find her. They haven't been able to feel her. They have no idea where she is. They keep trying to find this lair, and even Z's like, we can't do it. Ariana, who, can find people based off of links, can't find Mercy through Adam because he's a half-crazed werewolf, and she's so terrified of werewolves that she's like, can't be in a room with you.
Yeah.
So, no, it's been 30 days of them just suffering
Hunting.
Until Bran happened to look down at the couch at Adam's house and saw the walking stick.
The walking stick.
The
walking
wonderful,
stick to the
wonderful
rescue.
Walking stick. And he picked it up, and it connected him with Mercy.
Yeah. So again, the walking stick saves the day. Again, able to do something that no one knew it could do. It just does whatever needs to be done
in that moment. It's
amazing.
It is.
And I mean, actually, it was kind of fun to see some of the aftermath of that little lesson as well, because we find out when she was messing with Ariella and Daryl, like they kind of flipped out momentarily.
Like who's messing with us?
Right, who's messing with her? And he's like, who's messing with him? And then they kind of were like, oh my God. Can you imagine someone like pulling your chain?
No, that'd be
like
so
your mental
weird.
chain.
And then they find out it was Mercy, and they're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. And it seems like everyone's happy she's like back. It was a party when she got back.
It was a huge party because at this point they've outed everybody who really, really hates her. Mary Jo was out looking for her. Paul was out looking for her. Adam was desperate without her. He needed to find her.
And it was so sad.
He was so
she
sad.
could tell it. She could tell. He was like, at first she thought he was hurt, and she said, no, he's hurting. There's a distinction there. She didn't really. It was so sad. I'm like, oh no,
Adam. He's been hurt a lot. And again, like I said earlier, he's so worried about her leaving him. And then for the mate bond to actually break like this because of the magic, because, you know, it was broken. He couldn't touch her for 30 days. It was very traumatizing.
Absolutely it was. But they're together again. And of course, he has like zero of his usual restraint when it comes time to get lucky. And she's like, I don't care. Let's do it. Actually, he wasn't even going to do it. And she's like, if you leave me here without my clothes on and leave this place, we don't have a problem. And then he's like, okay, I'm good.
Yes.
I'm over it.
We're good. Let's do this. Let's have fun.
Let's do it, baby. And then happily ever after, basically, in a nutshell.
Arya and Samuel have been spending a lot of time together for the past month. So while Mercy was gone, they reconnected and they bonded, and she's getting over her fears of werewolves. And he seems really, really happy to be around her.
Yes.
Which is
and
wonderful.
Actually, she can be around Adam. Ariella can be around Adam now because Mercy's back. It even says, well, you calm his wolf, so I can stand to be around him now. He's more tolerable with you here. Because she didn't be around him. He was so wild. Like, you know.
Because, his mate had been taken from him. The mate bond had been broken. He was hurting. But now they're back together and everything is happy. Together.
This was a really good installment.
It was. I
really liked it.
Really good.
Yeah. One of the top ones for me, I think. This is one of the top books.
I think so, too.
Very good.
Like, it has all the emotions. It has all of the heartbreak. It has all of the hilarious moments. And it has all of the love and adoration that everybody has for each other. And it really shows the strength of friendship and the strength of the pack. And yes.
And dare I say, no vampires? Like, there were no vampires in this.
No. Stefan was mentioned, but he wasn't present.
I don't miss when the vampires are not in it. So if I had to choose, obviously the wolves are going to be in everything.
Yes.
But if I have to choose fae or vampires, I like the fae stories better than the vampire ones.
There are some good vampire books in this series. And I don't want to say too much and spoil for the later books for anybody who hasn't read them yet. And also they're all kind of blending together. But there are some good books. And when we get to them, we can talk about it. I mean,
honestly, they're all kind of good. You just start to get kind of nitpicky when it's what's good of the good. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They're all good.
They're all good. But when you nitpick,
Yeah. And you have to when you're getting into like 13 books of a series for the third time or more, in your case. Yeah, because it's all kind of meshing together, and I'm trying to separate things. Like, I'm actually glad that you guys won't tell this on the podcast, but we're going to take a week off of reading this. And that's going to, I think, help me reset. Because we recently jumped to 13 and then back to 5.
We read book 4, then we read book 13, then we read book 5. And it was like within the span of 5 days.
It jarred me coming back to it. It was
very
like, oh my
jarring.
God. It really made me mush things together from a previous book. So I'm like, oh man, that one thing got me off track. But I think this reset will
help us come back.
Settle again. Yeah. All right. I think we're done. What do you think, Casey?
I think we're done. I think we both love this book, and I think all of you need to read it if you haven't yet. But tell us what you think, too.
So up next, we'll be reading River Marked. Is this the next one? Do I have the right one? Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I think it's in order, but... Okay, so we'll be talking about River Marked, and of course, feel free to join us on YouTube. Follow there, and you'll see when we do live reading sprints, and we'll talk about the book as we read it. And you can bring what you want to read, or you can even read this with us and talk about it. So we'll be doing that, and of course, we'll be back for more bookish stuff on the podcast. So follow in all the places. See you in all the places. And, of course, we're still looking for some help in the moderator area. So I know you've heard those pitches before. I'm still looking for a moderator. So if you would like to reach out to me, you can reach me on Messenger in the Facebook group, in the book clubs app, and on the Discord server, or you can email me at info@shelfaddiction.com. And I guess that's a wrap.
I think
and
that's
we
a
will
wrap.
see you guys. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourselves.
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review, or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction official Facebook group, where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.